shit, I got a little paint on them. No big deal.
All right, what's going on, everyone? Episode 18 of the Millennial Real Talk podcast. First one of 2023. A lot has already happened this year. It's only been 5 days, but a lot has happened, Matt.
Missed the last 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
We were holidays, family stuff, getting caught up. I was sick, so.
Yeah, Matt was down for the counts for about 10 days.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, but feeling better now. We're back at it, so.
So we'll start with you, all right? What did we miss the past 2 weeks on your end?
Yeah, so I'm trying to think. So I had an offer accepted on a two-family in Warwick. So we're under contract.
You personally?
Yeah, me personally. So this is
You're just trying to keep up. You're just trying to keep up with me.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. After Jay got his and he closed. We'll probably talk about that in a minute, but. He closed, and then actually when you were under contract, I was like starting to really like hunt a little bit. So I got under contract. So under contract on that. It was a busy open house. Multiple offer situation. We were able to package something that worked for both sides. Under contract on that. It'll be the second property. And I think it's important to kind of talk about how. So I'll probably get into a little bit of the detail.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so basically, 2019, I bought a two-family in Pawtucket, house hacking. For those of you that don't know, we've probably talked about it before on here. House hacking, you live in one unit, you rent out the other. Usually it can cover most or all the mortgage, or at least a big chunk of it. So did that in 2019, bought a house in Pawtucket. And then now here we are 3 years later. I was still dating my girlfriend at the time. I didn't, again, still dating her now. I didn't put her on the loan or anything. I didn't even know at the time, actually, but I'm happy I didn't do that because, things are getting more serious now with her. So maybe moving towards marriage. Hopefully she's not watching this.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, basically.
Hopefully Isaiah's watching.
I know. Shout out to Isaiah. His is coming soon too, but.
Hopefully his girl's not watching.
I know.
All right, keep going.
Yeah. So anyway, I had it. So I, purchased that with an FHA loan. She was saving up, and we were able to save up money together too. And so essentially it's going under her name. So we have an FHA loan out. So if you're out there and you're living with a significant other. Maybe you haven't bought a house yet. Maybe you already did, depending on your situation. Maybe you're still renting, and you're looking to get into investing. I think it's really important to, use, because you can only use one FHA loan. You got to live in the property.
At a time.
Yeah, one at a time. Only one person at a time can use it. And then, so if you're married, you can't, if you're already married, you can't, you're seen as one, so it's like you can only use one. Do you know what I mean? So, you're gonna put down 3.5% on an FHA loan. So if you can do that twice, you can get into two properties for a lot less money down versus having to bring, out there, if you're dating somebody else, a significant other, and you guys know you're going to be together, I would say, you really want to get the ball rolling, get into that first property and try to just keep it in one person's name. Cause you want to use the FHA loan. You can only have one FHA loan at a time. You want to keep them, you want to be able to like have both partners use their FHA loan so you can get into a property for a lot less money down.
Yeah, what Matt's essentially saying is, just to really piggyback off it, if you're dating someone and you're going to be with them, get that ball started before you're married. Here's why: you buy a house and one of the partner's names. Buy a house, 3.5% down. You're living in it with $15,000 to $18,000. You have a home, and then before you get married, still you have to be before you get married, because once you get married, you automatically become one entity, and then the next spouse cannot go with. You guys cannot go 3.5% down in the next house because you already have that loan out. So now your next partner buys another house. That next house you guys maybe want to move into puts 3.5% down. Now you. Two owners, two homes, 3.5% down on both. Then you guys can get married. Both those properties become both yours because you guys get married and all your assets become one entity, and then you guys pretty much can benefit two properties with just 3.5% down on both.
Yeah. It's. I think it's definitely important to just like make sure you get into it before you're married, because those loans, you can only have one out, and actually, I was actually gonna touch on this too. A lot of people are probably thinking like, oh, FHA loan, and I actually had a conversation with the list agent on this too, because he's an investor. He owns a couple of properties, and he told me, when he first bought his first multi and house hacked, he went conventional, regular, 20% down, and he said, that was like one of the biggest mistakes he ever made. And my thought was, because he didn't want to pay PMI. What are your thoughts on P? I don't know if you have any thought, because I'll be honest, like, the price of a couple $100 a month to get into a property, for, with $15,000 down versus 90, I think is a very small price. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, my thoughts on PMI.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people like, oh, PMI, I don't want to pay PMI, but I don't know. I mean,
again, housing is a necessity. You need a house to live in. You don't want to sleep on the streets. So buying a house is more beneficial to you in the long run versus renting. So if you're going to continue to rent just because you don't have enough put down to avoid PMI, I don't agree with that. But owning a house that has PMI on it, I would probably, you buy a house, your first home, things are tight naturally for anyone. Just it is what it is. Your first home, things are tight. So having that PMI there to keep as much money as you can in your pocket, I would benefit from, but I wouldn't stay in it for the long run. I would maybe let 2-3 years go by, build up my bank account from try and build back up what I put down in the house, which is just 3.5% down. Build those funds back up, and then think about a way of getting that off my monthly mortgage. And you can do that by a few different things, getting an appraisal, getting your maybe refinancing or whatever it is. Reach out to us. We'll connect you with a lender to get you more info on that. But PMI on a home to get you into it is fine. I wouldn't hold PMI for more than like 8 years. I would try and get out of it. And PMI on an investment property, if you're cash flowing good, I wouldn't worry about it. I'm a strong believer in, PMI isn't really leveraging your money because it's a cost, and you're not, it's a cost for borrowing. So I would borrow as much money as you can from everyone and just get his money. If I can get 18 properties and I have to pay PMI in all 18, but I'm cash flowing, I'm making profit every month, I would do it.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's kind of a. Yeah, but those are some good points. I think like even on the Pawtucket, I'll just run through some really quick numbers here. So on the Pawtucket house, I pay the mortgage is $1,600. Now keep in mind, like the rates were down a little bit too. I bought in 2019, but the mortgage payment on the Pawtucket house is $1,600. I rent one floor out for $15. I'm gonna rent the other floor out for probably around $15. So 3,000 minus the 16, we're at 14. I pay the water and sewer out. Now we're at 12. Maintenance, who knows, but that leaves me with $1,200. Now there's a PMI of 176 on that house. I mean, I'm getting.
So you're profiting on it.
Yeah, I'm profiting.
Now, if you didn't buy,
a month,
but if you didn't buy because you didn't want PMI, you wouldn't be profiting anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't be profiting. And now that same house that I bought for $260 over in Pawtucket, it's almost $400,000. I mean, I had it appraised the other day. It's $400,000. So I would need even more money now. So it's not even just that the 20% on $260, it's 20% on $400,000. So now it's like you're never gonna like save that money. It's just, I mean, you could, but it's it's tough. So
a question I have for you.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you before, so I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
What is your take if someone said to you, do not get a home equity line on your personal property for anything because your home, that's your home, not a bank?
Yeah, I disagree with that. I mean, you can use, a home equity line. I mean, even I'm thinking about a cash out refinance, but even a home equity, you can use that for a lot of different things. I mean, it's right there for like, even repair. I mean, because if you think about it, like the home equity line of credit, it's there if you need it. So it's like, for example, if I take out a home equity line of credit on the Pawtucket house, I mean, what does it really do? I mean, it's there if I need it. It's,
Well, essentially, if you use it.
If you use it, yeah. So if I use it, so let's say I have let's say I'm not like really saving my money on that. I mean, I would just, I think it's good to have a reserve too for people out there. Like even some of the profit I'm going to get on the Pawtucket house, like the idea is to save some of that for, you're going to have a water tank go, you're going to have the roof. I don't know. There's going to be things you got to repair. So you got to kind of use some of that for that too. But I think it's important because if you're not doing that, or something maybe bigger comes up, you have the money there for that, for the repairs on the house. As far as, and I don't know if you were talking about like investing in other properties or
just in general.
I think
blanket scheme.
Yeah, I think even investing in other properties too. It's a great idea. I mean, because if you think about it, like let's say I used a down payment for another property. I took out a home equity line of credit, and instead of profiting on the Pawtucket house $1,200, now I'm profiting like $700, but I now have $90,000 to go put down on another property. Now I own another property that maybe it cash flows. I'm just making this up, but let's say cash flows $1,200 there. Now I have $700, $1,200, and even though I borrowed that money, I still have more. I have another property, and I have more cash flow. So it's kind of like, why wouldn't you? I mean,
right.
I don't. It's something I'm probably going to be looking into. I mean, I actually think it's a good idea.
My advice is I was told that, and someone told me that, and I agree with that statement.
There's some risk. I mean, there's definitely, you got to calculate it, but keep
I agree with that statement. You don't want to take a home equity line of credit on your personal home. You don't want to max out your home equity line on your personal home.
Yeah, that's really important. Don't max it.
Max it out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't touch more than 50% of it, of your equity in your home.
Just in case.
Just in case things happen.
Yep.
And the purchase has to be an appreciating or income producing asset only.
Yeah.
I don't think making a repairs on a home tough. That's like so like borderline, but obviously I know you don't. I will agree with this. Yeah. We're not gonna take a $50,000 equity out of a house to buy a car or a watch, shoes.
Yeah, I mean,
that money needs to be used towards something that's gonna appreciate. That money that's gonna work for you, or that money that's maybe gonna have to repair or something like that.
Yeah, I think the repair is I just want to that's a worst case scenario. Right. I mean, if you're making for example, if I'm making $1,200 in profit on the house, I mean, I wouldn't. I'm not. It's not to say you can't spend that money. You can. I'll use some whatever, but you should really be stacking, or at least for a year, stack that, because if you stack that money up to like 10 grand, let's say, and then you spend everything after. I mean, hell, for $10,000, what emergency is $10,000 is probably going to cover most things.
Just one boiler.
Yeah, I know. Nowadays, I had a client I closed on a house and the boiler went, and it was $13,000. So 3-family, but still. But yeah, I mean, I think it's important to you got to be a little diligent with the money. Maybe hit 15 and then start to I don't know. I mean, you got to have a reserve. So you shouldn't need the home equity line of credit. I mean, that would definitely be a worst case. But I think it's still. If you're being diligent, you shouldn't even need it for repairs. But if it's absolutely necessary and keeps the money, coming in, I mean, yeah, I think it's okay, but don't rely on it. I think too many people would hear this and be like, oh, I'll just use the home equity line, I don't. So, yeah, I would agree. So Jay closed on a home, right? The multi.
Yeah, I've closed on my first investment property.
Yeah.
I was nervous, like any other, I think, first time investor. Closing was yesterday.
Yeah, what did you think about, Jay, we had this conversation off air, but what do you think about, now he's got a tenant, one's empty, right? I think, or no, they're both filled.
Yep.
Okay. So he's got some, he's going to have to raise some rents. I would think that the tenants probably have some idea, but how do you feel about that? We had a conversation about it, and what are you
I'm not going to lie. I mean, I feel a little bad for the person living there.
Yeah.
And I'm a little stressed out doing it. That being said, I did rip the Band-Aid off, put the notice in the mail this morning,
Yeah.
and now I'm just going to wait for the phone to ring, and he's probably going to call me upset. But, you know, I had to do it. I ran it by a bunch of different people. You know, what should I do? I was contemplating going up in maybe 2 steps to kind of give him the person living there tons of time to find another place to go if they can't make it happen. But, you know, all the feedback I got is just rip the Band-Aid off and do it.
Yeah.
It's just not economical at the rent this person's paying. It's not market value. So like you said, I'm sure he's anticipating it. But closing was yesterday. How I got to that point. So bought a single family home before I got married with my wife, girlfriend the fiance at the time. Lived there for 3 years. Saved up a lot of money. She works hard. I work hard, fortunately, and we spent our money wisely over the course of our years, and got to a place where I was able to afford a multifamily, and this was a goal of mine.
How much did you have to put down?
25% down.
Percentage, yeah. 25%, okay.
25% down, closing costs, and I had to pay points and buy down my rate in order to get into it. It wasn't an option. So it was costly, but that's going to scare me, getting that check out. Oh, yesterday going to get that check out, and now I don't even want to look at my bank app.
Yeah.
Screw that. I'll be so depressed looking at it. But yeah, no, so this was a goal of mine for a good 2 years now. I really wanted a multifamily, get involved. It was my goal of yesterday. Last year's goal that I had for the year, so I was 5 days shy of meeting my goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. I'm 20, not really just to brag, but just to state facts. I'm 26. I have 2 homes. I'm proud of myself. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Just goes to show, man, I was nervous. And so I know anyone else out there would be nervous too, buying a first home or an investment property. And, just don't let before it was, oh, this market's so hot. It's so competitive. I'm just going to take time off. Now you take time off. Now the rates went up a little. I'm not going to buy right now. The rates are high. It's always an excuse.
Yeah, there's always
Stop with the excuses. I could have made up an excuse. I didn't. I knew it was a good investment. I went after it and I got it. And I'm going to show you guys that I made the right choice. I know I did. And just for anyone else there watching, if anyone wants our feedback or opinions on things, we'd be love to look at the home for you. But yeah, just stop with the excuses. Just stop being scared. Stop worrying about what dad thinks. My dad thought, oh, you're never going to get that rent, Jay. What are you thinking? This place needs a lot of work. Oh, man. He said that already to me about this house.
Yeah, I was going to say, tell us about the final walkthrough.
My dad told me already that this place, I'm never going to get what I want for renting it. He's worried about all the work it needs. You don't have that kind of money to do that. I said, okay. Thought about it. I'm like, no, I think I'm right. And I proceeded. I'm not going to let him scare me away. As scary as it is,